We have some really big updates throughout wrestling with CM Punk coming or going, AEW, WWE doing a trade. All of these things we're going to talk about in the video. So as always, timestamps in the description down below. We're going to kick things off with WWE King of the Ring. This is something that a lot of people were excited about, but Vince McMahon's direction of King of the Ring was not the direction that fans wanted to go. And honestly, while I love tournaments in wrestling, I think when they take up from TV time and from traditional storylines, I don't think they're a good idea, which was one of the reasons why I never necessarily cared for the idea of King of the Ring being on Raw and SmackDown. Well, now Dave Meltzer is reporting that WWE has had talks of bringing back the King of the Ring tournament as a premium live event that would feature King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring, and I think this is a great idea. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to WWE and King of the Ring in the past, they were meaningless. Honestly, in the last 2 years since we've seen it return, I don't feel like it really mattered if you won the tournament. I mean, the only guarantee that you got from this tournament was that you're going to come back with a new gimmick of you being king or queen. And honestly, it was silly. Now, in years past, when Triple H was running NXT, we saw WWE do these other premium live events, these little tournaments, these little specials on Peacock. And these were actually just a very cool thing that WWE decided to do. And I think WWE doing these specials is exactly what WWE should do today with King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. And I'm going to be honest with you. I only want this to return if it's going to mean something to actually win the tournament, okay? I like Xavier Woods, but Xavier Woods winning King of the Ring, coming back as King Xavier, it didn't do anything for Xavier Woods. And I'm sorry. I like the guy. But it just wasn't, it didn't mean anything. And when you're taking up TV time from meaningful storylines to do something like that where there's no meaning to it, I just don't think it benefits in the company's favor. So with WWE possibly doing this and with Triple H taking the charge, I think this actually makes a lot more sense to be a network special. I think WWE can do a good job of selling tickets. I think WWE will do a good job of bringing attention to it. But I only want this to happen if the winner is going to get something really big out of it. And, I think it needs to be reserved for somebody who genuinely needs it. Guys like Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, Kevin Owens. Those are just a few names of people who could benefit from winning a tournament. Let's see what WWE does. But if Triple H is really taking the charge, I'm excited about it. Did you guys know that WWE and AEW were looking to do a trade of some sort? Yeah, so this is actually really interesting. Dave Meltzer dropped a very, very interesting report. So there was meaningful talks between WWE and AEW for Billy Gunn to appear on WWE Raw for the DX anniversary celebration, right? And at this point, WWE has found themselves in a situation where AEW was probably asking for a little too much that WWE wanted to give out. And yes, despite the fact that some of you claim that I'm incredibly biased towards WWE, you guys forget that I show so much love to AEW on a regular basis. I actually think WWE made a mistake here, and I'm going to explain why. Dave Meltzer came out and basically said that a money exchange was not a factor in this potential trade. So what was actually happening here is that WWE was never really offered money. They were never asked for money, nor did Tony Khan ask for it. So, hey, Triple H, pay us, we'll give you Billy Gunn for a night, right? That wasn't the case. In fact, Tony Khan apparently actually agreed to let Billy Gunn be on WWE television. He didn't mind him being on air, but he did want WWE to mention that he was from AEW or that All Elite Wrestling had allowed him to appear on WWE Raw. Basically, Tony Khan just wanted some sort of wording from WWE that shows and acknowledges that he works for AEW. So the trade is as simple and as follows. WWE gets Billy Gunn, AEW gets their company mentioned on WWE television. And basically, the idea here was, well, WWE did this with Impact, so why not with AEW? And here's the thing. I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. This is just how I see it. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Go ahead. Trash me in the comments if you don't agree. But I think WWE failing to do this, right, shows that they are somewhat worried about AEW and their prominence in pro wrestling as the challenger brand. So WWE obviously mentioning Impact, they weren't really concerned for Impact. But the idea that they wouldn't acknowledge AEW tells me that they do have a little bit of concern there. And if you're WWE, you want to make it look like you don't care about AEW, right? I've always believed that AEW does way too much talking about WWE than focusing on their product. WWE doesn't take a lot of hits on AEW, right? There is a way where you can do this without necessarily making AEW sound like the biggest wrestling company in the world. I mean, literally, Michael Cole or somebody could have been, Corey Graves could have been on commentary being like, oh, Billy Gunn, the trainer and whatever at All Elite Wrestling. Like, it doesn't have to be anything significant. So I feel like WWE just kind of dropped the ball right then and there. But nonetheless, we didn't get Billy Gunn on WWE television. The trade did not go through. But Tony Khan and WWE having talks might mean something for later on, because eventually they might get to the point where they can agree on something. And when that happens, it should be very interesting. You know who can't agree on something? CM Punk. Yeah, so we're talking about CM Punk because obviously there's been a lot of talk about what the hell is actually happening here between CM Punk and AEW. And there's been a lot of talk about this for a minute now. But first and foremost, I want to read this tweet from you guys because I think there is nothing better than this tweet right here. Matt Black says, if the Meltzer report on Punk is true, and if both sides are worried about a damn non-compete, allow me to say this familiar quote. If you think the grass is so greener on the other side, be my guest. Go ahead. Leave. Main event night 4 of a buy one, get one free extravaganza. Well, my friend, CM Punk might be on his way back to WWE at some point because it appears that AEW and CM Punk are reportedly talking about his future in the company, which looks like he will be doubtful in the promotion. Couple different sources talking about this. Meltzer wrote, those with close knowledge of the situation said they are in talks with Punk up for a buyout of the remaining years of his contract, which does tell you they are not looking at bringing him back. Now, previously, Wade Keller of PW Torch also reported that Punk wasn't expected back in the promotion and a contract buyout was likely. Neither side has commented on Punk's contract potentially being bought out, but they haven't made any effort to deny this report. Also, one of the big things is there wouldn't be, realistically, there would be some sort of interest from WWE is the belief. And the issue here is the non-compete clause and whether or not he can go on to WWE. And if CM Punk could go on to WWE and get paid by AEW, it's a win-win for CM Punk. Now, the real question here is, CM Punk doesn't come back to AEW, does WWE sign him? And this is why I say you guys should always be very, very careful about how you talk about your competition, because one day you might need them. You don't know what's going to happen. So, it's going to be very interesting. I want to know what you guys think down below. Thank you so much for watching.